This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Amanda Bauer. It's Friday, July 16. In Squiz Kids today, Victoria heads back into lockdown, a horror case of the hiccups, letting go of FUPO, and a medical marvel. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
Well, Victoria woke up this morning to a very familiar thing. Lockdown. Premier Daniel Andrews announced a snap 5-day lockdown for the whole state yesterday afternoon, and it went into effect at midnight. He said he was acting fast to try to get ahead of the outbreak of the Delta variant of the coronavirus after more cases were detected, including people who attended an AFL match at the Melbourne Cricket Ground while infectious. If you're wondering what it means for school today and into next week, Premier Andrews said just do your best, which is all any of us can do in these unusual times. Kids of Victoria, you know all too well what this means. Back to remote learning again. You're all pros at it by now. You've got this.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Brazil, where the country's president has been taken to hospital with a chronic case of the hiccups. Chronic comes from the Greek word chronos, for time, and if you have a chronic condition, it means you've had it for a long time. As for President Jair Bolsonaro, he's had the hiccups for, wait for it, 10 straight days. The 66-year-old leader, who's a controversial character over his handling of the coronavirus epidemic and a host of other things like climate change, is having tests to determine whether he has a blockage in his intestine causing the hiccups and if he needs surgery. I've popped a link in your episode notes of him trying to hold a press conference and eventually having to apologise for hiccuping the whole time. We're guessing that drinking water upside down or having a spoonful of peanut butter or closing your eyes and thinking of a shape won't help in these kinds of situations. 10 days. Jeez.
Sport time.
Want to hear Ash Barty's rules on how to be a tennis champion? Don't focus on being a champion. Yesterday, the world number one's dad and one of her coaches, Ben Crowe, talked to the ABC about Ash's approach to life and sport. It all started with her childhood coach's 5 rules. 1. Be a good person. 2. Have fun. 3. Be happy. 4. Show respect and be respected. And then number 5 was, if you can play tennis after that, it's an added bonus. On top of that incredibly sensible approach to life, Crowe had another important thing to add. You can't let yourself be controlled by FUPO. What's FUPO, I hear you ask? F-O-O-P-O, standing for fear of other people's opinions. If you can avoid that distraction, Crowe says, it doesn't mean you'll win. It just means you'll bring the best version of you to the dance floor each day. Now I can dance to that.
Squiz Kids salutes.
Finally today, an incredible story about a man who has been paralysed and unable to speak since a car accident in 2003. Squiz Kids salutes the scientists in California who've implanted electronic transmitters into the man's brain so that now, when he's asked a question, his answers travel as electrical impulses from the speech areas of his brain, they're translated by artificial intelligence, and then they appear typed onto a computer screen. When the doctors started working with the man, they didn't even know if the speech parts of his brain still worked. But after they asked him to try to say specific words, the artificial intelligence learned to recognise them and display sentences on the screen. Although the system isn't working perfectly yet, scientists, doctors, and patients all over the world are excited at the possibility of it giving other people back the ability to speak. I've put a link in your episode notes to more information and a video explaining it all. It's proof once again that science is amazing.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question 1. What does Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro have, and for how long has he had them? That's right, he's had hiccups for 10 days. Question 2. What does FUPO stand for? That's right, fear of other people's opinions. And question 3. What can a man in California now do thanks to scientists? That's right, he can speak or communicate.
Shout-outs.
It's July 16, and on this day, 60 years ago, the novel Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger was published. You probably haven't read it yet, but you probably will in high school. Today is also the birthday of Luke Hemmings, the frontman of 5 Seconds of Summer, and actor Will Ferrell, who stars in one of my favourite movies of all time, Elf. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Riley from Exeter, Lawson from Shoal Bay, Nevada from Broken Hill, Tara from Fadden, Hugh from Stanmore, Pre from Campbelltown, Cooper from Appin, Emily from Ballarat, Valentino from Abbotsford, and finally Shaniqua from Ashmont. The following Squiz Kids will be celebrating a birthday over the weekend, so many happy returns to Madison from Brisbane, Emma from Cherrybrook, Thomas from Fadden, Nathaniel from Wary Beach, Ollie from Salter Point, and Jude from Ivanhoe. Have a great birthday, Squiz Kids. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you want a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for listening in to Squiz Kids this week. I've had so much fun filling in for Bryce. He'll be back with you again on Monday. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.
Squiz Kids is proudly supported by the Judith Neilson Institute for Journalism and Ideas.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.